Welcome to Sendblox. This is your getting started guide with Sendblox. My name is John Roberts. I'm going to walk you through how to set up your account fully so that you can make the best use of Sendblox. You find us here in the main app after you've logged in, as where we left it in our last video. Today what we're going to focus on is how to set up your account fully within the accounts and preferences. Before we can create campaigns or templates, we need to make sure we set our brand and our overall information. So head down to the bottom left to Accounts and Preferences, click on this and you'll see a number of options along the top. One of these is Company Profile, and you need to make sure all of this information is filled out. We discussed this in our last video. I don't need to add any more additional information at this stage, but you may feel it's important to add your headquarters, any social media links, contact information for public, and contact information via email by the public. We don't need to touch the billing or integrations at this stage. The main thing we need to do now is set the brand kit. This is the overall look and feel of your brand. At the moment, when you land in it, it has a generic layout and generic information. You want to personalize this so it fits within your brand. So we're going to take our fictional brand, Pod Brew, and have a closer look. So under the brand guidelines, you will see here that I've already created the overall look and feel of Pod Brew. They're kind of an urban, modern, hipster kind of combination of a coffee store. They're kind of your next take on Starbucks, if you want to think of it that way. As you can see, everything's got a earthy, rustic look and feel, and generally modern and sharp lines, almost if Apple went ahead and made a coffee store. You can further see how I've broken that down into core colors. So the matcha and the warm oat, sand and tuple and coffee and charcoal are the kind of core colors. We've got use of iconography and logos as well. This is obviously important for when you're creating the main brand for how it should look and feel across your packaging. But for now, we want to turn that into what Sendblox can use. So I've gone ahead and taken that information here. You can see it's pre-populated, but we need to now move it to the real tool. To help me with this, I've already created a document to cover this. So here's our core colors. So for me, I'm going to copy these across one by one. You do this by clicking on the color and it brings up the color picker. You can use the sliders across to pick your colors, your tones, everything that you might want, or pick some of the core, more prominent colors. But if you want to use a very specific color, you can click into the field here where the code is and populate it. Now let's do the same for the next two colors. Click in the field, replace it and populate it. Click in the field, replace and populate it. So those are our core brand colors. We can check this to see if it matches. It does. So the next thing we want to do is we want to set our logos. Now our logos follow a full logo light mark, dark full, and dark mark. What that means is, if we go back to our example, we need to have the full logo with words and the logo with just the iconography. And we need to do that for both light and dark mode, because users will receive emails on both light and dark versions of the email in their email clients. So we need to cater for both. In this particular case, we can go change, and it will bring up the assets panel. Now, we don't have anything in here at this moment, so the next step is to bring in all of our logos. So if we go upload, and then what we can do is we can move over to our demo organization, and we can see we've got all the logos for the company already here. So let's bring those in. Those are all set now. So what are we trying to upload? The first of this, if I scale out for a second, is the logo full. So let's open that. Logo full, and this needs to be in the dark color because it's on the light background. The next one is logo mark. So again, we want the dark color for the light background. And you'll know you're doing it right because the background color will make the logo visible. So now I'll do dark full, which is now the light color on the dark background, and the light color on the light background. So we can see now we've got our core colors and we have our logos set. To check this, we can go back to our brand guidelines and see if it's matching. The next thing here is our brand dictionary. So let's have a look at that. The brand dictionary is really important to create the tone of voice and the do's and don'ts that you want your brand to have. So words it is allowed to use and words it's not allowed to use. And this will teach the AI to communicate in the right tone of voice for your company. So let's go over to our document and let's pull all of those words that we would like to have. So allowed word phrases. Come back, and in this case we will just pop them into the list and add them. Do not is the next set. So forbidden words. Now you don't need to go to extremes by putting in every expletive or word along those lines. These are just words or phrases you may not wish the AI to use. For example, you may not like it to be saying revolutionary or future thinking or some words like that in your tone of voice. So you can choose to put it in here to prevent the AI from doing that. Or you may be able to achieve your goal through the next step, which is styles. Styles are phrases or words or combinations that you want to put together to cover how you say things. So let's go to our section here. We've got a few different ones. Let's take them one by one. And we can go back to the main tool. So we do want it to say, allow write the brand name as one word and never capitalize. Okay. And I'm going to quickly go ahead and do this for the others. So never use exclamation marks. Again, this works very well for a more natural, down-to-earth type brand, not overly professional. We have other words. Use paragraphs strictly to 1 to 3 sentences, not over writing, for example, or explaining any information unnecessary. Emojis completely prohibit across all channels. So we don't want any emojis for this brand. It will make cheapen it. Prioritize education over quick selling. So always educate the user about the benefits of our coffees or our branches rather than push them just to sell. And there's a couple of others we may use. Use clear vocabulary and conversational English, so not too formal. Connect coffee and food to simple human moments. I think that's enough for now. You get the general idea. We've got words that are allowed to be used, like crafted, roasted, specialty coffees, small batches, ethically sourced, premium. These are words that we want to use and convey to our end user. Words we don't want to use: best coffee in the world, life-changing, game changer, next level, revolutionary. These are not words that match our brand. And if they were to be used, would feel off and non-authentic. And then we have general phrases. You can use phrases and rules around how to write. So that is part of the brand dictionary. The next part is the tone of voice of the writer. So if we've set the rules of do's and don'ts, we want to then set how to write. So if we go back to our overarching documentation here, and I can pull this across. Now you can handwrite this, or you can train the AI to do this. So if you choose the training agent, you can upload any existing emails that you may already have as an example, using through PDF, documents, email files, or anything equivalent to that. The AI will read those documents and extract the language and tone of voice and populate the box above. In this case, we want to be explicit. So we're saying, write to Pod Brew. Pod Brew is a premium specialty coffee company inspired by Scandinavian and Japanese design principles. Every interaction should feel warm, calm, and genuine. Write naturally and conversational without sounds of corporate or overly promotional. Use short and clean paragraphs and plenty of white space. Focus on craftsmanship, quality. community, and simple moments. Avoid hype, excessive marketing language, and enjoy emojis and unnecessary exclamation marks. Describe coffee using sensory language such as smooth, rich, balanced, roasted, floral, chocolate, citrus, and caramel where appropriate. If promoting products, educate first and sell second. Always prefer clarity over cleverness. So that is an example of how we prompt the AI to communicate the way that we want it to, so it feels individualistic. Now let's have a look at the sliders at the top. We can play with formal or somewhere in between, natural or casual. Now for a brand like Pod Brew, we probably want to go more casual. And then the personality of the agent. How is it writing? This goes back into the tone of language. Is the person bold, meaning the words and the formatting it uses is more bold? Or is it more aggressive? It tries to demand you buy something now. Now, if we go back to what we've asked it to communicate through, it will not do that, but it will still try to do it in a very forward kind of way. I think we're more neutral in this case. Calm, collected, happy to inform, but not pushy. There's obviously shy, where we maybe want to be a bit more reserved about how we go about it. This might be more appropriate for medical, for example. But in this case, we do want to push our products. We just want to be a bit more warm and natural about it. And we're not trying to be overly bold and presumptuous of that you would want our products. And we're definitely not being aggressive and demanding you buy our products. So neutral is the right choice. Now that we have our brand guidelines all set up and ready to go, hit the save button at the top right. That is now saved, as you can see, and all the information is locked in and it's still changeable at any time. You can see I can click and change at any point and continue to make those alterations. For now, that is all you need for setting up your brand. You have your company information, which is used to inform the AI about your organization and what you do, and everything from your website and name and primary contact information. And now you have your brand kit, which represents your look and feel. This will come in handy when we do the next stage, which is start to look at templates.